Back here with the Call of Duty killer. Dude, it's just so easy to just call the game this, but genuinely, this game, there is finally another game on the market that actually will fill the space that Call of Duty has left.
And now some people are even calling the game a COD killer.
I don't see this game being the COD killer, but I also don't see it dying. To me, this
game
game just
the
has
Call
so
of
much
Duty
going
killer.
for it.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Landon, but on here I go by Landum. Call of Duty drama. Nah, but in all seriousness, I'm sick of Call of Duty drama. I feel like every 15 seconds I'm on Twitter or YouTube, I'm just seeing my favorite content creator complain about how much they want to quit Call of Duty. I'm playing Warzone today. I'm uninstalling. I hate Warzone. Why am I playing this game? I'm getting on Apex. I hate SBMM. Tomorrow's stream, Warzone at noon. It just gets a little tiring to watch, and look, I get it. I mean, Warzone brings in the money and the views, so if that's what you kind of thrive on, I understand it. I'm not knocking that. But listen, in the wake of all the Call of Duty staleness over the last few months and even kind of last few years, a couple games have risen up on people's radars. These are Call of Duty killers. Supposedly. Since it's become pretty much blasphemous to like Call of Duty nowadays, these games have kind of risen to more popularity. But they've been around forever, so we're going to take a look back and kind of a look forward at some of these games. And how much of a chance do they really have of knocking off Call of Duty, a giant gaming franchise? Let's take a look. That was kind of a lame intro. Alright, let's go check out some video games. Medal of Honor was one of the earliest competitors of the Call of Duty franchise. You see, when COD was in its early state, Medal of Honor wasn't exactly marketed to be a killer of a franchise that is still relatively early in its career like Call of Duty. It was just a standard competitor at the time. That could really never live up to the hype. Not like EA can't produce quality games or like Medal of Honor was a terrible game at the time, but with all due respect, Call of Duty and EA is like the Philadelphia 76ers calling them and the Celtics a rivalry. It's not a rivalry, they whoop us every time. Looking back though, Medal of Honor was a great game and a lot of people enjoyed it. It was often looked at as the more realistic military type shooter that COD wasn't perceived as early on. But after a failure or two, EA said they were going to cut their losses here and go on to the next 10 games. If only EA looked at failed games like Giannis does at losing in the first round of the NBA playoffs. No, EA, your 5th COD clone wasn't a failure. It's a forward step. Battlefield as a whole has been around and has many times gone head-to-head against Call of Duty. But if anyone's played a Battlefield game at some point, you know it's never totally been similar to Call of Duty. I remember when Battlefield 2042 came out in 2021. It was either that, Vanguard, or Fortnite Zone Wars for the next year until the next COD drops, at least in my friend group. I was always on the COD Vanguard train, and while a few others were into Battlefield since 2042 flopped at launch, at least it was clear that both games sucked and were all retarded. But Battlefield Bad Company 2, this was the game. The red circle in the thumbnail screaming capital letter COD killer. And while yes, it didn't completely derail Call of Duty for the future, it was a really great competitor. The game was immersive, gunplay felt great, graphically compete with some modern FPS games, and paired with great realistic feeling animations, definitely is regarded as one of the best Battlefield games. Obviously, it's hard to outsell a COD game, which we'll talk about later and why it's nearly impossible to dethrone COD. The game didn't do too bad for itself, and remains an underrated Battlefield entry. Now, there's a game out there that has been plaguing the world. Faceless S&D creators with the same thumbnail and title every time have moved on. Movement merchants and MW 2019 apologists have uncovered a new wave of gaming. XDefiant, baby! XDefiant is the new COD killer, according to like every single YouTube title. XDefiant is a Ubisoft developed game by some old Call of Duty devs and some former pro players from the COD community. Overall, XDefiant does a lot of things well. Keep in mind, I've never played the game yet, so take this all with a grain of salt, obviously, as you should with any review on the internet. It's really getting everyone nostalgic for only 3 short years ago, when their precious Modern Warfare 2019 was at its peak. Anyways though, XDefiant is a good game. It really has smooth movement and great visuals. Gunplay is hard for me to comment on since I haven't played, but progression looks rewarding and general multiplayer experience looks great. But while I was watching FaceJeff, he brought up the map flow. And yeah, the map flow actually looks really good on this game. Because a lot of, well, really all of the Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer maps have atrocious flow. Like, it's terrible. I'll give XDefiant a lot of props for what it's doing well. But my main problem with the game is that it's doing all these things so right. Listen, it's clear that the gaming community is in such a dry spell that you can put out a game like XDefiant, which, let's be real, doesn't do anything super unique. It's only being freaked out over because COD is dead right now. I don't know who plays Apex anymore. The game is good, but I'd much rather it take some risks and implement something we haven't seen, rather than making an arcade shooter that isn't anything super special or features extreme replayability.
Yo, editing version of Landon here. I'm here to set something straight. I was editing this video that took me like 5 years longer than it should to make, and it's only gonna be like 6 minutes long. I'm talking a lot of crap about how XDefiant isn't doing anything unique, and I think I need to say this one thing. Have fun on video games. No one cares what you play, no one cares what you think is fun. I myself put in a ridiculous amount of hours on Call of Duty Cold War.
Honestly, man, I really don't give a shit.
The moral of the story is to have fun.
Take something like the finals, for example. That's a new take on something we haven't seen in gaming, and I'll take that over XDefiant because it feels like it's just taking advantage of COD's dry spell rather than building a game to stand on its own. With all that said, I'm still excited to check out this game, but COD killer?
Bro, really?
COD can't die. It won't die. It's like Walter talking to Saul in Breaking Bad. It is not done until they say it's done. COD's become the FPS equivalent of Madden and 2K. It's going to be loved, it's going to be hated on, but at the end of the day, there's really no alternative, so people are going to play it. If I had to give a prediction for the end of the year, COD's going to put out a banger if it's a whole new game. XDefiant will be moderately dead. The finals will have carved out its own sort of Battlefield type fan base. I'll also be stuck at 1K subs. Kanye West will drop Graduation 2, and the Packers will be the best team in the NFL. All right, everyone, have a good night.